Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining my session about how to turn your craft into profit via getting products made. If you don't know me, I'm Cara of Kylo Chic. You can find me on social at Kylo Chic. You can find my blog at akylocchiclife.com, and you can find all of my products that I make and have made for me that I sell online at kyloschic.com. And today I just wanted to talk a little bit about my history of getting products made and give you some ideas of how you can go about turning a profit with your crafts and your ideas. So first off, let me give you a little bit of history about me. I actually started Kylo Chic in 2005, like a long time ago. I joke that when I started my business, there were no digital cameras. I mean, there might have been, but they just weren't widely used yet. So I actually took pictures of my product with a film camera, got the pictures developed, then scanned in the photos to make a website. So it was just like a long time ago as far as the digital age when I started. So I actually started my business as a handbag company and women's accessories that I sewed myself. So I just found a pattern at the craft store, bought some fabric, and started sewing bags. I took them to a local consignment shop and they were like, yeah, we'll put them for sale and see how they do. And they actually sold, and I was like, oh, somebody would pay money, their hard-earned money, for something that I made. That's cool. And so I took that money and I just kept reinvesting it. And so for 10 years, that's what I did. I sewed bags with my sewing machine, headbands, wallets, clutches, all sorts of things like that, and would sell them at craft shows and would sell them online. After about 2 years, so in 2007, a local company approached me because they had seen my stuff in that consignment store that I first started in, and they were wanting to create a line of fashionable women's laptop bags. So they're like, we are a woman-owned company, we love that you're a woman-owned company, and would you like to collaborate? And that was back in 2007, before collaborations were really a thing. And I was like, yes, let's do it. So I designed a few laptop bags, and they were actually sold in a lot of big box stores like Best Buy, Circuit City at that time, I believe, was still there, and OfficeMax. And they did really well, but the company was mismanaged, and so they declared bankruptcy. But their loss was my gain. I ended up buying all the laptop bags that I had designed out from them after bankruptcy for like pennies on the dollar, and just continued selling them online through Amazon and eBags and different places like that, and fulfilling them myself. So cut to 10 years later in 2015, and my bags were the #1 selling laptop bag for women on Amazon, and I was getting a lot of sales that way, and that was kind of what was driving my business. I still did the handmade, I still sold through Etsy and craft shows, but most of my business was coming from those laptop bags. Well, other people took notice and they decided to knock off my laptop bags. So in 2015, I was like, you know what? I need to build a brand presence. I need to build a brand name. And so that's when I started my social media accounts. That's when I started my blog at kyloschiclife.com, where I just kind of share all the DIYs and crafts that I like to do, that I was doing anyway, but I just started to share them online. And that really was a transition point for me. It went from these laptop bags that I was selling and designing, and really just selling because people were searching women's laptop bags or colorful women's laptop bags, and my stuff was popping up. Not because they were searching for me or Kylo Chic or anything like that. So I really needed to start that branding process. And now I am, was this 7 years later, and my business is completely flip-flopped and switched, and I no longer do bags, I no longer do laptop bags. I still have a few that I'm trying to get rid of that are still on my site for cheap, but for the most part, I no longer do women's accessories at all. And what happened was, by doing the DIY blog and sharing all these craft projects, people were like, I love that. I don't want to make it. Can you make it for me and I'll just buy it from you? And I was like, well, sure. I mean, here's the tutorial on how to make it, but I can make it for you and give it to you. And so that is kind of how I started to grow this holiday collections and then home decor, where I was making things and selling them online. And so I did that a lot. Like, I was physically hand making, I was spray painting planters and selling them on Etsy and on my website. I was what was some of the first things? Oh, some of the first felt garlands, like this is one that you see behind me that I have made for me. But the first few that I actually did a DIY project on how to make a little reindeer head felt garland out of felt balls. And I was like, well, I'll just put a few up for sale and see how they do. And I sold 7 immediately. And I was like, oh, no, wait, that means I have to make like 100 reindeer heads. I can't do that. So I cut those, I put those as sold out. I made the ones that I had sold already and shipped those out. But I was like, people will buy this stuff. So for the next holiday season after that, so like a whole year later, I was like, you know what? I need to find a way to get these made because there's no way that I can keep up with inventory and make all of them myself. So I need to get those manufactured. And that's a little bit about how I'm going to tell you different ways that you can get your stuff made for you, or you can make it yourself to sell. So that's kind of where I am now. I now do some handmade still. I still will cut, or I have a laser cutter, so I will laser cut drink stirrers or cake toppers and assemble them myself. I do have stuff that I get made for me, like these felt garlands, and it's just kind of a combination of all of the things that I'm going to teach you about today. I still do. I mean, my goal is to one day not have to hand make, but I kind of still love it. So I think it's in my blood, and I'll always be finding something new to hand make and sell, just because it's my passion, but not where it's necessary for my livelihood. Anyway, so let's get started with the different ways that you can sell your product and your craft. So really it's going to vary based on what you're making or what you want to make, but let's just start with the basic of hand making it and selling it. That's how I got started. That's how a lot of crafters get started. And until they have a market or a big enough following, or they can sell enough of the product, it really doesn't make sense to jump all the way into manufacturing at the very beginning, because that requires a lot of money investment. So with hand making, you can hand make to order. You can sell on Etsy. You can set up your website, and you can even sell on Amazon handmade items. So there's a lot of ways that you can sell the product that you make. Maybe you are, like I said, spray painting planters, or you find really cute plastic skulls in the Target dollar spot, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to paint these and then sell them online. You can do that. I mean, more power to you. Mark it up. Do that work for somebody that doesn't want to do it themselves. And, there you go. I don't really have experience with baking or food products. But again, like you open a bakery, you can have an online bakery and have people just give you orders and you fulfill them. I think that's fairly easy. Easier than like the whole product side of it. But if you are already making stuff, you're already a crafter, then take photos of those products, edit the photos so that they're bright and good and that you can see what it is that you're selling, so the buyers can really see that product. And get them on Etsy, get them, set up a website through Shopify or any of those shopping cart platforms that really kind of do all the work for you. Shopify has a basic plan for $29 a month, I believe. So it's really not that much of an upfront cost, and then you can just make the products as you go, so you don't have to have a lot of inventory to begin with. So that's option 1. I still do option 1. Option 2 would be if you're a graphic designer or you're a pattern designer or you like to do little sketches, you can actually get those items printed onto products and shipped directly to your customer. That's called print on demand. There's a lot of websites that do print on demand. You can Google search it. Some of my favorites are Gooten, GOOTEN.com, and Printify.com. There's also Printed Mint, I believe, printedmint.com. All of these have products like stainless steel tumblers, wine, like koozies, canvases, let's see, throw pillows. Okay, like this. For example, this is one throw pillow. This is a design that I did on Illustrator, and I put it on a pillow through one of the print-on-demand services. And so it looks really cute. It looks completely legit, like something you'd find in the store. And all I had to do was upload my design onto their website. And you don't pay for it until somebody buys it, and which is, again, another awesome thing. They do full renderings of what the product will look like for you, and you can list it on Etsy, you can list it on your website, and then when somebody orders it, that order gets sent directly to them. Their manufacturers print the item or like print the pattern on their pillowcases, and then they ship it out directly to the customer. So you're just, you know, let's say once you have that initial design made, it's really, really just like a, what am I thinking? What's that term? Oh, I can't think out of my brain. But it's just like a revenue stream that you're not having to put forth a lot of effort for, except for marketing it and sharing those products on your social channels or with email newsletters and stuff like that. So that's another option. There are like hundreds. I mean, t-shirts, let me try to think of all of the things. Bath mats, bath towels, beach towels, tote bags, lunch bags. I mean, there are hundreds of products that you can get printed with your designs. Now, if you have Procreate on an iPad and just want to do some sketches, if you want to do old school sketches or drawings or artwork and then take a photo of that, you can upload that onto a product as well. I've done some abstract art paintings on canvas, and I just took a photo with my camera and I put that on pillows. So it doesn't even have to be, you don't have to have digital knowledge, like you don't have to have Illustrator knowledge and how to create a pattern and a graphic and all of that. You could just be an actual artist that paints something on a piece of paper and get that translated onto products. So it's a really cool way to expand what you're offering, to get those products with your own designs on them, which is an exhilarating feeling, and then to sell those products without having to do anything. You don't have to ship it or anything. So it's a really cool option. Again, I do that as well. You saw the pillow. I sell tumblers and tote bags and beach towels, all with my designs on them. So that's another way that I can expand my offerings and not really have to pay for inventory or ship the product or anything like that. So that would be option 2. Option 3 is to actually go ahead and get your ideas and your products manufactured. So that means going to a factory that's going to produce a large quantity of them for you, and you have to pay for that inventory up front. So that is a scary concept for a lot of people just starting out. It was for me too, and I didn't even know how to get things manufactured. It's really just been a lot of trial and error because nobody wants to share their secrets. But if you have questions specific about your business or a specific product, please feel free to email me. You can ask me afterwards, after this session, with a little Q&A if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to share all of my knowledge with you because nobody shared it with me and I don't want to be that for somebody else. I want to be an open book. So I'm here, ask me your questions whenever they come up. So I will just kind of be a little bit basic and generic with my talking about getting stuff manufactured, just because it can be very specific. It changes with, you know, what products you're getting made. So for me, the way I decide if I'm going to get a product manufactured is I first hand make the item and I offer it for sale. Like I said, the felt garlands with the little reindeer heads, I was like, I'm gonna hand make these and sell them. Well, I saw that there really was a market for them, that I could sell a lot of those items. And so I wasn't as scared to take that risk and buy 200 of them, because I was like, you know what, I think I can sell 200 of these just based on how many I've sold that I've handmade. Now, different products will require different minimums. There are some things like if you are going to get a plastic molded tumbler cup that is your own design, that's going to require several thousand pieces being bought, which is a lot of inventory and a lot of money investment. But some things like the garlands, they are handmade in Nepal, and I can order 48 of them. I don't have to order hundreds and hundreds of that item. So I tried to find, when I was first starting out, places that would accept smaller minimums. They call it MOQ, which is minimum order quantity. And so I would say, like, would you accept 200 pieces instead of 1,000 pieces or 2,000 pieces? And some factories are like, no, we need it to be a bigger order. And I said, that's fine. Some places will say, yes, we can do that smaller quantity, but the pricing is going to be a little bit higher than if you were to get a lot made. And you know, and I say, okay, I'm willing to do that because this is going to be an exclusive item. There's only going to be 200 of those made. So I can afford to charge a little bit more for those products and just get a few made that I can, you know, my budget allows for that inventory, and not sink into thousands of something. So that's kind of how I got started. Now, as far as finding a manufacturer, I know that can be very daunting for a lot of people. I really recommend Alibaba.com. That's where I find all of my factories that have made all of my products. It is scary to like reach out and be like, is it legit? Well, Alibaba is like a legit company like Etsy. You know, you're gonna be like, yeah, they're gonna stand behind their products and the people that sell on their platform. So it's the same thing with Alibaba. If a factory doesn't work out for you, or a manufacturer doesn't work out for you, or seems shady, or the product that you get is wrong, Alibaba stands behind that. So if you order through their site, through that manufacturer, they're gonna be like backing that up and making sure that that factory is legit. So that kind of quells your like fears on that front. So that's where I find so the way I find my manufacturers is, for example, if I want to get some of my acrylic made. Now, like I said, I will laser cut it myself. Last year, I laser cut, I think it was like 7,000 ghosts. And then I hand painted all of them, and it was a little nuts. So this year I was like, you know what? I think I'm good getting those manufactured and not doing it all myself. So to find that, I would go on Alibaba and I would search acrylic decor. Just very basic of like what that item is. For example, you know, so if it's acrylic decor, or if it was like ceramic planters, that's what I would search for. And then I would look through the product listings and find something similar to what I want to have made. So if I'm looking for a ceramic cylinder planter, then that's what I would look for. And if I find one similar, then I'm gonna say, hey, can you customize this by making it these dimensions instead? Or can you customize this by painting it these colors for me? And most of the factories are like, yes, we can do that. We can customize it for you. And that's kind of where I go from there. And then I'll ask for a quote. I'll ask what their minimum order is, like the MOQ is, and get that back. And if that looks good, then I'll go ahead and get a sample. Now, a lot of factories will require you to put money down for a sample. They will charge you for the sample, but a lot of times they will refund you that money if you go ahead and place an order. So like once you get the sample, you love it, it's approved, and you want to go ahead and place your final order for production, they'll refund that money to you or give you a credit towards your production run. I will, as far as payment goes with them, a lot of them, if you do go through Alibaba, you can actually pay directly through Alibaba.com with your credit card or your bank account. You can do a wire transfer. Some factories that I've worked with for a while, I will just go ahead and wire transfer directly to them outside of the Alibaba platform, because I've worked with them and we've developed a relationship and we have a mutual trust. So a lot of times the factories will require a 30% down or a 50% down deposit on the product that you're getting made, and then they will start production, and then before they ship the item out from their factory, they'll require you to pay the balance payment, and then they will ship it. Now, as far as shipping goes, there's air shipping and there's ocean shipping. They will be able to arrange either method for you. Most of the sellers on Alibaba will be able to arrange shipping, so you don't have to worry about having a freight forwarder or anybody to arrange that on your end. You can have them do that for you. Now, obviously, ocean shipping is much cheaper than air shipping. So if you're getting something that's very big or very heavy, ocean shipping is the way that you're going to want to go. But it does take 1 to 2 months for it to arrive. The shipping time is a lot longer than air shipping, which can be 5 to 7 days. But you're going to pay a premium for air shipping. But if it's something really tiny like jewelry and you're getting 500 sets of earrings made, it may be beneficial to, you may be able to just air ship that to you. The cost won't be that high. And then once you have the product, you can, package it. You can have them package it for you. You can package it, and then you can ship it out to your customers. Now, or you can get a fulfillment center. There's a lot of those around. I just switched to a fulfillment center this summer. So it's been 17 years of me shipping out all of my product and my husband helping me, which he did not like to do. But now I have a fulfillment center fulfilling some of the items that I don't hand make. and it's been a load off. But it's really just what your business needs and can handle. You know, having a fulfillment center, getting stuff manufactured does require a lot of capital investment, and you have to make sure that you have those sales to justify that. So I always recommend going slow. Don't get out a big loan and then just deep dive into it, because if you mess up, that's a big mistake. You know, that's a big mistake. That's a big mess up. But if you are just doing small little incremental growth and one thing gets messed up, that's a small mess up that you can overcome versus a large thing that could be detrimental to your business. For example, recently I got some disco balls made, and the samples came in. They were great. They looked awesome. I was like, yes, let's go ahead and do this. They were very expensive. They ended up costing me $28 a piece, even with ocean shipping. That was included. And when I got them, some of them, the mirrors were wrong. They were misplaced. There were gaps. They just didn't look good. And I only bought 100 of each. So it was a really small quantity. But if I had just gone in and been like, yes, I want 2,000 of these, that would have been a $2,000 mistake versus a 200 piece mistake that I could just sell them for a discount, sell them for cheaper than I was expecting, but just to recoup my money. And then even Alibaba was willing to, they said, take them all out, take a video of the damages, and we'll get the factory to reimburse you. Well, for me, I was like, that's too much work. I don't want to unpack 200 disco balls and take a video of all of them in one go. So I was just like, let me see how many I can sell. I ended up selling through all of them, so it wasn't a big issue. But it just kind of even at this stage in my business, there's still mistakes that happen, but growing small and doing those small incremental buys really prevents big catastrophes. So those are that's my tips. That's my advice on getting product made. So like I said, you can make it yourself and sell it at craft shows, sell it on Etsy, sell it on a website, sell it on social media. You can do print on demand, where you create the artwork and just have it put directly onto products and shipped for you. You can go big or go home and get stuff manufactured in large quantities and sell it online as well. And then I think the fourth option would be partnering with a company to get your designs manufactured. So I'm also doing that. I'm kind of doing all of the things currently. So that's where I have really good knowledge of how they all work, because I'm doing all of them. The fourth option would be, like I said, partnering with a company. So maybe you want to do a collaboration with some product company. They have the skills on getting something manufactured. You have the ideas, you have the audience that wants those designs, but you don't know how to get started. You feel, anxiety about trying to get that product made and shipped. Then maybe a partnership is the way to go. I partnered with a company, and we're doing a whole line of colorful games. We did a whole line of office decor, and they're actually the ones that are helping me get some of my manufactured products made, like the acrylic bats. Now, I could get those made myself, but this company has a lot bigger reach. They have sales reps, they go to trade shows, they sell to bigger stores like Paper Source and Target and Walmart. And so I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that myself. I can't pay for all the inventory needed to get a product into Walmart or Target. That's just not gonna happen. But partnering with another company that is used to doing that, getting the products manufactured, getting them into big stores and doing that distribution might be beneficial to you. Now, you don't get as much of the profits. I get a royalty payment instead of the full profit that I would get if I did it myself, but I don't have any of the headache. All I have to do is design it. And so that is also an option for getting your products or your DIYs and your crafts into production and into tangible products that can be sold. All right, so I hope that was helpful for you, that you learned something that you didn't know before, or that you feel a little bit more confident in taking that step into selling your designs and your DIYs and your crafts and making some side money on that, and maybe you have a blog and you get ad revenue, but you really want to make a little bit more. Maybe selling is the way to go. So I hope, again, that you learned something new here, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me or catch me in the Q&A, and good luck in your business adventures.